Longinus is a very great critic of English literature. He is speaking of faults to be avoided. He gives examples of the false, sublime, bombast, puerility, ill-timed pathos, and frigidity. He measures these things not by rules but by the touchstone of his own taste. Longinus then gives five fountains of eloquence in an attempt to clarify his definition. They are: number one, a firm grasp of ideas; number two, vehement and inspired emotion; number three, the proper construction of figures; number four, notable language; number five, general effect of dignity and elevation. He seems to be quarrel with Aristotle's theory of catharsis when he tells us that there are some feelings that are mean and devoid of sublimity, such as pity, worry, and fear. Indeed, his statement that true excellence exalts us seems opposed to Aristotle's famous definition of tragedy. In the second part of his work, Longinus takes up each of the five sources of excellence. To have great ideas, one must have greatness. Sublimity is the echo of a great soul, for it is not possible that men with mean and servile ideas and aims prevailing throughout their lives should produce anything that is admirable and worthy of immortality. As an example of the sublimity that comes from great idea, he quotes the legislature of the Jews: "No ordinary man, as writing, God said, 'What? Let there be light, and there was light. Let there be land, and there was land.'" In this section, which is of extreme interest, he compares the Odyssey and the Iliad. He then quotes a great poem of Sappho and preserves it for posterity. It is impossible to describe all the many excellencies of his treatise. His important lesson is that we can be sure of the greatness of a given passage when intellect, senses, and will respond together. Longinus does not, of course, escape certain faults of his age. He spends much time on faults of diction, which he would consider better spent on other things. But even in so doing, he gives us more examples of his test. He believes that sublimity is recognizable because within each of us is a power which aspires towards the great and the noble.